Oh no! Oh no! We are having problems. Welcome back, everybody, to Sporadic Movement Gaming. Today we are on a mission to get to orbit. It's going to happen right now. Let's get into it. Okay, so now we are going to make our lander. This is going to be what brings all the science back down. So we're putting all the experiments there, so we don't have to transmit them back. I'm going to add the controller stabilizer on top with a parachute. Make sure all the science is there. Also, I'm going to add some batteries to maintain control before and after we have re-entry. Also, a heat shield. Very important to have the heat shield, or else all of this will just blow up. Now on to the second stage. We're going to add a liquid fuel tank and also the engine for it. And this is going to help us achieve our circularization of orbit towards the end, and also bring us back down from orbit to Kerban. I'm going to make sure I have a liquid fuel engine on there. Perfect. And then I'm going to start the next stage, which is going to take us from high altitude to the outer atmosphere. And it'll probably help us start our orbit. And then this is going to be, these 4 engines I'm about to add are going to, oh, can't forget the coupler there, and also the fins. Make sure we have some control over where we're going. So these are going to help us from the launch pad, take us up. They're all going to work at the same time, and we can hopefully maintain good speed and get into orbit. This is going to be, these are going to be kind of like boosters. What I'm going to do is show you guys how the liquid fuel engines can be tied together and do what they call asparagus staging. So what's going to happen is I'm going to tie this one to transfer fuel over to this one, and then from this one it's going to go into the main stage, this center one, and then I'm going to mirror it on the opposite side as well. And then the ones that this one and this one are going to be staged first. I'm going to get rid of those ones first, which will make the capacity of these be full. And then I'm going to do the same thing again with this one and this one for my second stage, my second separation, to make this one so it's full. And then from there I can separate this main engine to go into this. And then once we are coming back down, I will get rid of this and we will land with just this top stage here. The hardest part about this is getting the separations and boosters separated in their own stages. So I'm going to go from this stage and transfer it. You can see the arrows. And then from this booster, I'm going to connect it to the main, and then make it identical on this other side. Not identical in the sense that it looks the same and it's at the same dimensions, but the way the systems work. It's transferring fuel. So as it burns, it's transferring fuel from these engines into this tank. All of them are active, but this one's transferring fuel to this. So these are going to burn off faster than these 3. Once these are empty, I'll get rid of them. It loses weight. And also, once they're gone, since it was filling these ones up, all 3 of these will be full. And then the same thing will be with the ones that are remaining towards the main booster. So you can see this has all 4 of my couplers to release at the same time, and also my main engine is in this group. So I'm going to launch all 5 of these engines at the same time. So when I hover over, it should be all 5 of those. Then the next stage is going to be this engine and this engine. So I have this, perfect, and perfect. So that should work out pretty great. This, do I have 2 couplers in here? Oh, looks like I have 2 couplers on here. Did that work out properly? Oh man, this game is complicated. Make sure I have a coupling on there. We'll get rid of that stage. Okay. So engines will launch. I'll release these two. I'll release those two. Then I'll just have the main engine. When that's done, I'll cut that off. And I'll spark that engine. Release it. Up here. And then we'll parachute back down to Earth. Fantastic. We're going to call this one bowl movement. My final step is I'm going to use the strut connector on these boosters here to try and stabilize it a little bit to the main craft so that once they are ignited, they're not moving all over the place. It's not guaranteed that it happens every time, but it can happen, and it can result in a lot of explosions, or it can result in maneuver errors and things like that. So that looks pretty decent. Let's get it on the launch pad. I hope I didn't forget anything. It looks pretty good to me. Let's try it. Let's do our escape the atmosphere. I almost didn't do that. We'll escape the atmosphere. I think we can orbit as well. Okay, we're on the launch pad. I do have my mech jeb. Gives me orbital info. So I have my speed, my apoapsis, my periapsis. So apoapsis is going to be the furthest distance you are away from Kerban. The periapsis is negative because we actually aren't in flight. You'll see this start to go into the positive as we start to fly. I just want to make sure that my apoapsis and periapsis becomes close to the same amount as possible to get a good circular orbit around the planet. It's T-minus 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. We have liftoff. You'll notice over here, you'll see these are my engines that I had in the first one. So these two are those ones on the outside. Those are the ones that are burning faster. You'll notice when I stage it, these secondary ones, the ones that are in second place here, will become full along with the main. And once I get close to around 7,000 meters, I'm going to start making my 45-degree roll over to the right to match the speed of the planet spinning to help me get out into orbit with less fuel. Oh no! Oh no! We are having problems. And this is the beauty of Kerbal Space Program. T-minus 3, 2, 1. Yep, see, it doesn't like it. And T-minus 3, 2, oh, that's why you gotta always check your staging. Alright, T-minus 3, 2, 1. That's still a little sketchy. Come on, baby. Where are we going? Oh, no. Okay. So, let's hope this works. And T-minus 3, 2, 1. So I added the RCS thrusters here on the side. I'm hoping this works. Please work. It's still very sensitive. Alright, so this is my 5th attempt at trying to make this work, and I really hope it does. 3, 2, 1, launch. Yeah, like I said, this is a game of trial and error. I'm not gonna let this defeat me. It's not gonna happen. We're gonna get into orbit, and then we're gonna focus on moving elsewhere on another day. And it's gonna be a beautiful day and a good end to this video in T-minus 3, 2, 1. Alright, so I'm hoping this is the problem that was solved. I noticed when I did my fuel lines, I wasn't connected to the actual base here, and I was depleting fuel faster than I was gaining it. So let's give it a go. Looks like it's pretty stable. I think we're going into orbit. So I want my apoapsis to be somewhere above 70,000. So I'm going to keep burning until we hit that. I'm going to kill the engine here at 80. Beautiful. Once we get close to our apoapsis, our highest point, I'm going to accelerate horizontally to try and widen up this arc, or the bowl, if you will, to give us a nice orbit. And this is the kind of the maneuvers that, when I use the mod, will be easily solved. Alright, we're currently at 74, so I'm going to go ahead and engage our thrust. And if you notice, our periapsis now is going to start climbing rapidly. I'm going to try and keep this as close to where we're at as possible, just by playing with it a little bit. And we're just looking for our apoapsis and periapsis to be as close to the same number as possible. Alright, as we get close to the 0 threshold, I'm going to start to throttle down to not overshoot. There we go. We are gaining orbit. Blammo. As you can see, we have an orbit around the planet. There we are. Look at this beautiful thing. It's all very well done. We still have an entire stage actually here to land us. So let's conduct some science and then we'll land. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to aim for somewhere in this desert type area. So what we need to do is we need to face ourselves away from the direction of the orbit. Just put ourselves backwards. That looks good. So let's give it a little bit of juice and bring us back down to Kerban. Now once we're under 70,000, gravity itself will bring us back down. I'd like it to be more controlled than that. So if I can get us, if I can get us down there without gravity's help, that would be fantastic. And I'm gonna go right there. The reason I stopped it on the edge here is because, number one, the way the Earth's spinning, it's gonna be spinning to the right, so it's gonna give us a lot more land. You can even see as we're talking right now, this gap right here is growing slowly, but it's growing. Also, as we're coming in, we're going to start losing speed. So this arc that we have is going to start to become much more vertical than it is horizontal. So I want to give us a good opportunity to land. Hopefully not in these mountains. I'm aiming somewhere here. So let's go back to our craft and prepare for our landing. Essentially, this whole stage that I have right here is a complete waste. We didn't use any of the fuel whatsoever. So as we break in to the upper atmosphere, around 60,000 meters, I'm going to start to hit that a little bit to kill our horizontal speed. That way, we're not coming in so hot, number one. Number two, the fuel is not a total waste. I didn't actually pay for this. It's a game, so I'm not too worried about it. So let's get to that point. We are already clearing those mountains there. If we were just to follow naturally, I feel like we're going to get close to these ones. But let's see what happens. I'm going to get us adjusted properly to our retrograde point. And we'll give us a little bit of warp. Once we get into this upper atmosphere, we are going to start burning up. I'm not too sure how all of this stuff on the side is going to handle. Like I said, this is a game of trial and error. Oh, look, it's the moon. We're going to see you next video, sir. We'll see you soon. Okay, so now we're starting to get our friction with the speed. As you can see, we are moving quite fast, and we're still gaining speed. So this is when I'm going to start to engage that second engine to try and slow us down a little bit now, so that we're not worried about burning up. And also, if you notice, this is going to move where we're landing. So we're way past the first range I was worried about into the second. We're probably closer to this green open area if we can time it right. And that's all based off of your throttle control, but I'm assuming we're going to be somewhere in here. So, look at it go! Oh wow! There goes our booster. We'll see you later, man. Wow, that was really close. Alright, so once we get more onto land, once we get over this ridge, I'm going to really punch it with these thrusters. And use the thrusters to kind of slow it down. Same way as kind of like the Falcon 9 does. But with a much smaller craft and not as much intelligence. Just make sure we can clear this. This open area is optimal for landing. I don't have any landing gear on this module, so I'd like to keep it. Oh, we're starting to rotate a little bit. Ooh, I don't like this. Alright, I'm gonna light it up. I don't like this rotation. We're just gonna stay on it though. It's not affecting us too bad. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Alright, I'm gonna kill that. I'm gonna drop our separation in 3, 2, 1. Separation. Beautiful. Alright, now we just wait for the free fall. That really launched out, didn't it? We still have some RCS fuel left somehow. We have good electric charge, good monopropellant, so we'll be stable. We'll be good for this landing. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Get us closer to a nice flat surface. And I'm going to start the parachutes at around 4,000. You can see our rocket booster explode right there into debris. Engage our parachutes. These should open up around 1,000 meters. Wow, those were really going off over there. I'm going to disengage RCS and disengage the SAS, our controls, just to get us leveled out. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful parachutes. I'm going to engage it again, just kind of center us up a little bit here. It shouldn't take too much fuel, and fast forward through time. And this is going to be our first mission in orbit, which is going to be our new standard from here on out. Any other exploration we're going to have is going to take place from the orbit we just achieved. Like I said, with better science, we get better parts. It becomes easier to control, faster to get to that altitude and to that orbit. And from there, we can make jumps to the moon, to the second moon, Minimus, or even interplanetary, and we can try and head to Duna, which is the equivalent of Mars in this game, which, like I said, it's the furthest I've ever been in this game, and I want to go further. I'd like to actually come back from Duna. So, all right, we are in stable condition. Let's get this guy an EVA real quick. You've been through one hell of a run. Fantastic. And let's look at our science, my favorite part. 238 science for one run. I got a little bit more than that, and it took me about triple the time just going around here. So the science builds as you get further out. I think I've shown that. Also, look at our money we have now. We've doubled our money from when we first launched out of here. The craft we made was only $40,000, so we could do that launch. The vehicle I made should actually get us to the moon with $40,000, so that's fantastic. And we got the reputation coming through. I got 168 reputation. Don't mess with me. Alright, moving forward, I'm looking at some advanced rocketries. For sure. I really would want to get the next level of the mech jeb. I don't believe we have it yet. I'm going to go for batteries, lights, and solar panels on this one. We're going to get miniaturization. And then we're going to go back out, get precision engineering. That's going to give us a relay antenna that helps us with satellite communications. And we get some more structural items. And then that'll take us into the autopilot, landing, the ascent, all the fun stuff that's going to happen there. I would like to land on the moon with this, so we're going to do higher orbit at a Kerban next video. We're going to go fly by the moon next video. We're going to get far away from it, and then we're going to get really close to it, and hopefully with that much science we can come back, get this, and land on it by the end of the next video. I do appreciate you guys holding in there and watching this. It's a struggle starting off, but a lot of big things are happening, and we're going to head to the moon after this is all said and done. It's very exciting. And just to show you the size of this game, this is our planet that we're at. The moon is this ring right here, or mun, the mun. There is a secondary moon. It's this purple ring here. It's quite a distance further, but just to put that in proportion, we zoom out a lot more. You can see the trajectory that we are on, and you see all the planets that we have that we can go to. And these planets also have their own moons on top of that, so there's a lot more to come. I want to get to everything. I'm going to try my best to get to everything. This is actually my goal. I once was on a failed mission to Duna, which is the planet closest to Kerban, and I flew by this planet so far away that it looked like a green star, and I want to get as close as this to it. This is my goal. I don't even want the last planet. I want the second to last planet. If I can get this close to this planet, I will retire knowing that I did well. We just gotta dodge all these moons first. But thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. This is gonna be an ongoing thing, so stay tuned and take care.